Today I'm going to run through a couple of modern leagues. The first one we're going to go with is going to be EldraziTron here. This is just a pretty stock list I took from MTG Goldfish. I have not kept up too much with the details of what EldraziTron looks like nowadays, but I know you used to be running Karn the Great Creator to get Mycosynth Lattice. Mycosynth Lattice has since been banned, so we're not doing that, but we still have a good suite of artifacts to choose from. A lot of things to shut off Planeswalkers or activate abilities like Pithing Needle. We have some Graveyard Hate and Tormod's Crypt and Grafdigger's Cage. Liquid Metal Coating can do some pretty fun things with not allowing things to be activated. Also, we can just continually destroy a bunch of lands by Liquid Metal Coating a land, and then using Karn's +1 to cause it to be a 0/0 creature, which will destroy it. Snaring Bridge for creature decks. Mystic Forge just lets us kind of pop off and hopefully play a whole bunch of stuff from the top of our deck. Sky Sovereign kills some creatures, I guess. There's some big fatties up here. So I think we're probably not going to end up sideboarding too much with this deck. We have a couple Spatial Contortions we can bring in for creature matchups where we want some extra removal, but by and large we're playing with... this is 60 cards we're playing with. Maze Mind Tome is, from what I understand, a pretty new card to be added to EldraziTron. It seems like a really cool card. Drawing card, scrying, you're going to gain a bit of life after 4 turns that you've been activating it. It just seems like a good fit for a deck like this that's hopefully getting Tron online and just has some extra mana to sink into this. And it's also just a play you can make in the early turns where you're still trying to get up to playing your Thought-Knot Seers and your Reality Smashers. It's not a card I would have guessed that should go in this deck, but minds smarter than me have suggested it's a good fit. As far as lands, I'm running a Seagate Wreckage. I just really like this card. It wasn't in the list, but I'm running it over, I think, the 3rd Wastes, which I think is fine. This is basically a Wastes, but better, I think. I just think a land that draws a card is really awesome, so I'm gonna run with that. So, we're gonna go hop into a league and see how EldraziTron goes. We are not running Kiki Cord right now. Right. EldraziTron is a deck that I've played a couple times before and had a lot of fun with it. It's always fun to play some of the cards that you kind of get smashed with. In particular, Thought-Knot Seer just feels great to resolve. So I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so unlike a lot of, unlike regular Tron decks, you're not necessarily looking to mulligan to a hand that has, a turn 3 Tron. We don't have the Ancient Stirrings, and we don't have the Sylvan Scryings to get those lands. We do have Expedition Map. But by and large, we have 3 and 4 and 5 mana plays, so we're not trying to land a Karn Liberated on turn 3. We don't even have Karn Liberated in our deck. So this hand looks fine to me. We have a play on turn 3, a play on turn 4. It'd be really nice if one of these were Eldrazi Temple so we could get out a turn faster. We also have Chalice of the Void, which could be very good depending on what our opponent's doing. And a Walking Ballista that can also be relevant. Sacred Foundry suggests burn to me, but not playing a spell kind of suggests to me that this is not burn. So we'll see what this is. Stoneforge Mystic, okay, so this is probably some sort of red-white prison-y type thing. Not too sure what to make of this. I'm assuming this is going to get a Batter Skull, which... Sort of fire and ice, okay. It could be because my opponent expects that we're on regular Tron and not EldraziTron. We have not tipped our hand to being EldraziTron yet. I'm kind of skeptical that a Chalice on 1 is going to do that much. Also, we just drew an Expedition Map that we kind of want to play. So I'm thinking we don't lead on Chalice of the Void. Instead, I think we're just going to play a Walking Ballista. The other option is to play the Expedition map, but I'm thinking next turn we have the option to go map into Chalice or map into second Walking Ballista, or just play the Matter Reshaper. Flagstones with Trip Care suggests that there's some sort of land destruction going on, mass land destruction, because that way you can get planes back after this dies, but I'm not too sure what to expect here. This is just going to be putting the sword into play, which makes sense. We are missing a fourth land, so Karn will not necessarily be coming down. Although it would be nice to play it so they can't equip the Sword of Fire and Ice, but can't really do much about that. So this is going to make Stoneforge a 3/4 that shoots things. I guess playing the Walking Ballista is a little awkward, because it can just get shot down, but I guess we can block sack. I think we'd really like to hit a land, and so because of that I'm going to play the Matter Reshaper. Actually, an interesting option that I had was to attack with the Walking Ballista, and if my opponent blocked with the Stoneforge, I could play Walking Ballista and shoot Walking Ballista. I think that's probably not the right play. It's just trading 2 of my cards for a Stoneforge Mystic, and my opponent would still be able to activate the Stoneforge Mystic if I did that. Okay, so we're Lightning Helixing this Matter Reshaper. We got a Thought-Knot Seer into our hand. We really wanted to hit a land. We are definitely going to block and sack here, just to stop our opponent from drawing a card, because this triggers on damage to a player, yeah. So, we'll shoot our opponent here. Okay, we did not hit a land, which is unfortunate. So we have a couple options. We could go map and Ballista for 1. We could go map and Chalice for 1. We could go map and Crack Map. I kind of like map Crack Map, just because I want to make sure that we can start deploying some of our larger threats. Walking Ballista has the advantage that we can block sack again, but that's just really spinning our wheels. I'd really like to start playing some Thought-Knot Seers. I feel like life will be really good if we can do that. So we're just going to map and plan to sack the map. It's not even clear that Chalice would really do anything in this situation. And just spending Walking Ballistas to prevent our opponent from hitting us seems like not a long-term solution. I don't honestly really expect the first Thought-Knot to be able to block. Hopefully the second will. We'll at least get a trigger and we'll be able to see a little bit better what's going on with our opponent's hand. Our opponent, just with all the flagstones. Really not too sure what they're up to with those. That's a Nahiri, okay. Okay, so that could be bad. We are going to... Well, let's do this. We could get an Eldrazi Temple. An Eldrazi Temple will let us attack Nahiri down with a Reality Smasher if we happen to get one of those. Although it looks like our opponent probably has a path in hand based on how they played the flagstones to leave a plains open. So whatever creature we play, I don't think it's going to live. We could just play Karn with the intent of tutoring up a Pithing Needle. I don't hate that play. We are definitely going to need to do something about this Nahiri. It's really just a question of, do I get an Eldrazi Temple or do I get a Tron land? I think because I have the walking... well... I think I can get the Tron land. I think the Tron land has higher upside. So we'll go ahead and roll with that. We'll go ahead and play a Thought-Knot Seer. that, again, I expect this to eat a Path to Exile, but that's fine. We have another Thought-Knot Seer. We have also a Karn. Oh, there was no path. I was incorrect. So I think we're just going to take this Lightning Helix here. We're going to be able to shut down the Stoneforge Mystic. And next turn, we can Walking Ballista and shoot Nahiri to stop Nahiri from going off. If we draw our land, we can Karn Pithing Needle, and then that works fine. But there's just no reason to take either Nahiris, and Chalice is totally fine with us. So we're going to take this Lightning Helix. And we're just going to pass the turn. So if our opponent, as I expect they will, is just going to loot. If we do hit a land, which is what we want to do, then we'll just Karn and Pithing Needle. If we don't, then we're going to have to play a Walking Ballista and shoot down the Nahiri, and then hopefully next turn we'll draw the land to go Karn Pithing Needle. Our opponent might be playing just a Chalice on like 3 here. That is also something that they could do. Yeah, so that's what the flagstones are for. That is unfortunate. Flagstones can get, doesn't have to be a basic plains. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Well, if we just had a land, that would be really good. As is, I think we need to hit this. We need to try to hit this Nahiri. Actually, maybe we don't, because if we hit a land, then... Because the awkward thing is, our opponent could just let us hit the Nahiri and then exile our Thought-Knot Seer. I don't know that we really have any good options here. Like, both these options are pretty bad. Like, our opponent would go to 2 on the Nahiri. I assume our opponent is just going to put an Emrakul in play here. We'll sort of get Troned. We'll sort of get out Eldrazi'd by this deck. Yeah, that's an Emrakul. And it has haste? I don't think I realized that it had haste. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so... Warping Whale would counter Boom, which seems good. I don't think there's anything in our sideboard we really want to bring in. I guess we could bring in a Spyglass because we have the Pithing Needle to tutor for, and so just having access to another one of these in the deck is good. I don't think this Dismember would hit Stoneforge Mystic. I think his Chalices are actually pretty bad, so we can actually just bring in some better cards here. The problem, of course, is that you don't want to bring in things that you could be hitting with Karn. You could be tutoring out with Karn, but I don't think we're going to tutor out our Walking Ballista. I think Relics are actually fine. They'll just cycle. And... I would like to be able to tutor for a big threat, but we could bring in one of the threats. I'd like to be able to tutor for the Mystic Forge. I think we could bring in either a Sundering Titan or a Wormcoil Engine. Let's bring in the Wormcoil Engine. That was 61 cards. Let's not bring the Wormcoil Engine. Okay, we would like to go first. This hand has no lands, so we will mulligan it. This hand can play a Matter Shaper on turn 2. Also has outs to get Thought-Knot Seer and Realize Smash it down pretty quickly, so we'll definitely keep this. I don't think Walking Ballista is doing much here, and it's definitely one of the weaker cards in the matchup, I think, so we'll tuck that away. We will lead on Eldrazi Temple, because that gives us outs to play a turn 2 Thought-Knot if we... okay. Do an Urza's Power Plant. So we can just go Matter Shaper into Thought-Knot. We could also crack this Expedition map to get another Eldrazi Temple. which would let us play Thought-Knot Seer next turn. I think I like just deploying our hand. We can maybe use this expedition map. That's not how this works. We'll just curve out with our hand. I think that's fine. Do we have a lightning helix on the matter reshaper? Boom. Destroy target land you control and target land you don't control. Okay. Well, good thing we have an expedition map. We will probably get an Eldrazi Temple with that. Land destruction deck seems good against EldraziTron. Not gonna lie. Another one. Okay. Well, we'll pop this and we'll get an Eldrazi Temple. Is there any chance you want something else? I don't think so. This Eldrazi Temple will let us play another Matter Reshaper, which seems good. Don't exactly love our position here. We've got a pair of 3/2s in play, but our opponent probably has some maybe Angers or even just Lightning Helixes to clear them out. They could give us more lands when they die, which would be good. That's irritating, though. Fortunately, we do have a Wastes, so this could be a lot worse. Yeah, and we're attacking for 6 a turn, which is pretty decent. I definitely... Well, did I have the Waste in play when I had the other expedition map out? I don't remember. Sure. So you're going to exile a Matter Reshaper, and then I get to hit the other Matter Reshaper and cast a Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, so now I like my position. I think things are pretty good here. I don't think we have a way to get the Blood Moon off the table besides, like, All Is Dust. Can we tutor anything out to kill it? Don't think so. So that's fine. So we're not really going to care about... I guess we'll just take another... We'll just take another Wastes in case our opponent has another land destruction spell. And we're definitely killing this Nahiri, so we'll just do that now. Then we will cast a Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, so our opponent has a Karn. Opponent also has a Boom Bust. And a Stoneforge Mystic. So what can our opponent do with the Karn? Not too much, because anything they tutor up, I can just kill the Karn, and I don't think they're going to play... I guess they could tutor up an Ensnaring Bridge. That would be pretty bad. Stoneforge Mystic is probably just going to get a Better Skull or something, which is not ideal, but Reality Smasher can fight through that. Boom Bust is scary. Although I don't know that our... Like, I don't know that that really matters at this point. Like, I think we can deal with... I think Boom Bust is not a problem, and I think Stoneforge is not. It's not ideal. But Karn fetching up an Ensnaring Bridge is something that we can't really deal with, so I think we need to take the Karn. This is a Nahiri. Okay, that's not ideal, but again, okay, fine. Okay, so we can just kill our opponent here. Attack all creatures you. Cool. Sideboarding, I don't think anything really changes. I think that's fine. On the draw, we'll see how this goes. Two lands, Maze Mine Tome. Two Dismembers is pretty bad in this matchup. I mean, the Dismembers are going to hit the Stoneforge Mystics, and that's it. Kind of feel like they shouldn't be in the deck. We do get to play a Maze Mine Tome. That could be okay. This hand just doesn't really do anything else. Like, these two Dismembers are just really bad. I think we have to mulligan this. This hand is a turn 3 Tron, if our opponent does nothing about it, which I think means we need to keep this. I think I want to keep both of these maps because I'm going to expect one of these Urza's lands to die. So I think what I put back is the Walking Ballista. It's just going to be like, even if we get Tron online, it's just going to be like a 3-3 or 4-4. There's an argument to put a map back, but I don't think it's very good. If we knew we were going to have a map on top of our deck, we might have put a map back. Is our tower dead? Our tower is dead. So we are going to need to draw another land in order to be able to crack these maps, but we can at least play some more maps. So that's fine. And our opponent didn't have a flagstone, so boom, set them back just as much as it set us back. Stoneforge, sure. Would have been nice to have the Dismember, but this is fine. They got a Batterskull. Okay. I think we'll be able to deal with the Batterskull. Okay, let's just play this Urza's Mine and pass. When we have our Tron online, we can play Karn into... No, I'd probably rather play Thought-Knot. I need to make sure I activate this now. So we're going to get... I guess we're going to get a tower? What's the best way to play this? Probably just the tower. This is targeting the mine. That's fine. It does mean that they're delaying there's a turn off where they're not putting the Batterskull into play, so that's nice. It reduces their clock. They're hitting us for 1, but that's unimportant by all looks. Okay, so our opponent missed the land drop, so I'm actually very tempted to dismember the Stoneforge here, because that's going to be a good amount of time that our opponent's not going to get a dismember into play. The counter to that is if our opponent goes land Nahiri. So if we play the Urza's Tower and do not get an Urza land. So if we go tower and just play some stuff, our opponent goes Nahiri, goes up to 6. We're going to have to spend our whole next turn getting our Tron land. Then they're going to put Nahiri up to 8. But then we could go Karn, fetch Pithing Needle, play Pithing Needle. It doesn't work if they have another land destruction spell, but that's putting them on Nahiri and land destruction spell. We know one of their cards is a Batterskull, so I don't think we need to worry too much about that line. I think we can afford to just dismember the Stoneforge, play another map. We'll take it a little slow. Seasoned Pyromancer, that's pretty good. Leyline and Wrath, okay. So in terms of a clock, that's as much of a clock as Batterskull was. Okay, I mean, I guess we're gonna... We're going to crack this. We're going to get mine. And we're going to play the mine so we can crack our other map. And we don't have anything to do with this 2 mana, but that's fine. Next turn, unless our opponent has Boom Bust, which they can't cast, so that's fine. Next turn we're going to be able to resolve a lot of mana worth of stuff. We could have up to 9 mana if our opponent doesn't... We could have up to 10 mana if our opponent doesn't do anything. Nahiri, that's fine, because we can go Karn and Needle It. Sure, loot. Simian Spirit Guide, okay. Okay, so here I just want to get a tower, because that's going to give me 10 mana. That lets me go Thought Knot, Karn, and some 2 mana spell. Don't see any reason why I would want to do anything else. I could get a waste to try to play around Blood Moon in the future. That actually seems okay, because this time I'm going to go probably Thought Knot, Karn, Pithing Needle. And this gives me this makes sure that I have a waste in hand. So I kind of like that. I have the power plant to go up to 9 mana anyway. So I think I just want to make sure I have access to a waste in case of a Blood Moon. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to make sure the Pith Needle's in my sideboard still. It is. Because remember I brought the Sorcerer's Spyglass into my deck. So we're going to start off with the Thought Knot Seer. Boom Bust, Blood Moon, Batterskull. So our opponent only has access to 4 mana right now. I think we definitely just have to take this Blood Moon, right? And then Karn and Pithing Needle Nahiri. Our opponent can boom one of our lands, which is unfortunate. We're going to get set back, but we can still play the Thought Knot Seer the next turn. Yeah, so I think we should take the Blood Moon. We could actually Thought Knot and take the boom. We could play second Thought Knot and hit the Boom Bust. Then our opponent has to top deck. But if they top deck a land destruction spell, it's really bad for us because we're not going to be able to get through the Nahiri necessarily. So I think we let our opponent boom. We're going to take the Blood Moon. They have Batterskull, Boom Bust. We're going to play Karn. We're going to play Karn. We're going to get the Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle. We're going to play the Pithing Needle. We're going to name Nahiri the Harbinger, right? The Harbinger. Okay. Then you can go. Boom is almost certainly going to happen, but that's okay because we got our big turn's worth of mana. That's fine. Oh, this card is indestructible. That is interesting. Attacking Karn. So we do want to protect Karn. So we will just block your Pyromancer. And Thought Knot can eat the Batterskull, which is the other card that's left. We can also start attacking the Nahiri in case they ever have an answer to the Pithing Needle. Can also animate this Pithing Needle. That's very interesting. How much do I care about killing this Nahiri? Are they ever going to have an answer to Pithing Needle? Probably. They're a red-white deck, and I'm playing playing EldraziTron, so they're probably going to have access to, like, Wear Tear. So I have this, and you have Batterskull in your hand, so I think I just definitely want to play that. I don't want you to play a Batterskull. That would not be great. Until your next turn. So I really don't want this to be a creature. Yeah, I'm not animating anything. And I could, like, kind of play defense for this Karn. I think I'd kind of rather just start getting my opponent dead, or going after this Nahiri. I think I don't want to risk, because if our opponent has a removal spell for this Pithing Needle, then things get pretty bad. At least this way they have a bunch of turns before they can get the Emrakul. It's kind of the presence of these elementals, because if they have these elementals up to block, then a lot of awkward stuff could happen. This is fine because we have Karn to stop them from equipping any equipment. And the Batterskull's already in the graveyard. Like, Sword of Fire and Ice just doesn't do anything here. These are both attacking Karn, which is fine. Now I get to eat an elemental. That's fine. Okay, I really like my position here. So we're just going to take this up again. We're going to... If I do one in here, one in our opponent, I kind of feel like I can also just kill our opponent, especially now that we have the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Although I do need to leave back one blocker for Karn, otherwise they can get access to their Sword of Fire and Ice. So I think we're going to attack our opponent now. We just want to get our opponent dead. And I am actually going to play this second Sorcerer's Spyglass on, I think also on Nahiri, just so that we have an extra level of redundancy. I don't know what else our opponent would play that we care about. I'm sure there's something. Maybe Chandra Torch of Defiance or something. Chandra 4 would actually be pretty good. Yeah, maybe I should have named Chandra 4. Either way, I think we're in pretty good position. We have a pair of 4/4s to our opponent's creatures that are not doing too much. If our opponent wants to throw all their creatures away to get Karn down, okay, they don't. Do I want to tick this up? I don't know. I don't know what I want to tick it up to. We'll just leave it. What might I want to get with Karn? Maybe Mystic Forge? Maybe Liquimetal Coating? I don't want Liquimetal Coating unless I'm doing something with it. So we're going to play this Urza Mine. I'm going to tick Karn up on nothing. At this point, I think we can attack our opponent with both creatures. Because they're taking 8, and then if they want to double attack Karn, they're leaving themselves open to taking another 8. So this is fine. Thought here is a very good Magic card. It's funny because I remember reading it when it was first spoiled, and it looks a lot like, you know, a lot of the cards like Deputy Detention or Fiend Hunter, those sorts of things. They take something, when they die, they give it back. But just the delta between, oh yeah, you can do that. Okay. Okay, that's a little awkward. I forgot that our opponent could make some elementals. So they are going to be able to kill Karn if they attack with 3 things. Yeah, that is a way to get back in the game. Okay. So our opponent can cast this. They can cast a Simian Spirit Guide. Okay. And Stoneforge can put that into play. So I think I want to pump this up to at least 2. Because then I could crack it to kill the Stoneforge Mystic. Put a counter on this. Go to my turn. Okay, Walking Ballista should seal the deal. So I can crack Blast Zone with 2 mana up. No, I'm still 1 short. One, two, 3, and 1. So if our opponent, I can play Walking Ballista for 3. I can kill a Simian Spirit Guide or Stoneforge. I think playing Walking Ballista for 3 is good because we can shoot whatever our opponent tries to equip to, although they can equip again. I think we should just start by attacking our opponent. Attack Carmel Death. This way, if our opponent needs to block each of them, otherwise they die to Walking Ballista. And I think they may just let 4 through. If they block both, that's fine, because then Walking Ballista can handle everything that they could equip the sword to. So this is fine. Now we just win. Play this. Done. Shoot you. Cool. Wonderful. Off to a great start. So you can definitely see the consequences of us choosing to attack the Nahiri for 1 turn. If our opponent was at 4 less life, that turn would have been a lot less hairy. I did choose to attack the Nahiri down because I was scared of a Wear Tear, which I think is an entirely reasonable card for our opponent to have in their deck. Well, in their sideboard and their deck post board. I don't remember if I had the Sorcerer's Spyglass in my hand or not when I made that play. And I'm definitely not saying that that was the wrong decision. I'm just saying that you can see some of the effects of that play. This hand looks fine. We can play a Matter Shaper into a Thought Knot. Expedition Map can fetch... I don't know exactly what. It's like definitely a kind of odd hand. Like it's definitely not a super powerful hand. Like we're not getting to Urza. We're not getting to Tron quickly. We don't have an Eldrazi Temple to power out a Thought Knot Seer. But it's still a perfectly functional hand. If we draw Tron land, then we just, turn 2, we just crack the map for Tron. Really love this mine was a power plant or a tower, but can't have everything. Gemstone mines. This is probably Ad Nauseam? Yep, definitely Ad Nauseam. Okay, so we... what does this mean? So this comes in on their turn 4. So what this means is that we really want to have Karn in play, and we really want to activate our Thought Knot Seer. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to do Cavern of Souls on Eldrazi, and we're going to crap map for an Eldrazi Temple, because then on turn 3 we play Thought Knot, strip something. On turn 4 we play Karn. They shouldn't have an answer to Karn, especially after the Thought Knot, and Karn will stop them from cracking the Lotus Bloom. Everything else in our hand is pretty irrelevant. So we're going to play this, we're going to name Eldrazi. And that's it, because we need to play both of these cards before turn 4, and the only way to do that is to get an Eldrazi Temple. So this is all fine. By doing this, we're not playing Matter Shaper, but that's fine. Matter Shaper just does nothing in this matchup. I mean, just generally speaking, against a combo deck, like there's a generally very small subset of cards in your deck that matter. We're fortunate to have 2 in our hand. And so we're just really worrying about playing those 2 cards and nothing else really matters. Our opponent scryed to the top, which is fine. We're going to crack this. We are going to get Eldrazi Temple. We are going to play Eldrazi Temple. We are going to play Thought-Knot Seer. We're going to see what our opponent has. I shouldn't be able to do anything about this. There's Pact Negation. I guess I should have made sure to tap Cavern for uncounterable mana. Like, okay, they could actually Pact, and on their upkeep they could Angel's Grace. So I definitely should have made this Thought-Knot Seer uncounterable. Yeah. There's just no reason not to do that. I would be really surprised if our opponent wants to burn. Well, I mean, if they have 2 Angel's Grace, yeah, they're gonna do this. Okay, so that was a pretty big mistake on my part. That was a pretty big mistake. Our opponent is certainly going to play Angel's Grace now. Which presumably they have another one in hand. Well, not necessarily. I can't do anything. We are still going to be able to play this Karn to prevent our opponent from cracking the Lotus Bloom. And our opponent did not have a land. So they're going to be pretty short on mana. If they have another Pact and Angel's Grace, that's really something. Okay. We win. Cool. So not punished for our mistake. Spatial Contortion is irrelevant. But Dismember is also irrelevant, so we can take that out. And in its place, probably just a main deck Spyglass effect. And I don't think Graveyard Hate is ever relevant. Maybe just a Relic of Progenitus to cycle. Liquid Metal Coating is something I want to tutor, and Snaring Bridge isn't relevant. Sky Sovereign isn't relevant. We could just bring in a threat in, like, Sundering Titan. Most of their lands don't have land types, though, so that's pretty bad. We'd probably bring in Wormcoil Engine, or maybe another Walking Ballista. I think we'll just bring in a Relic to cycle. I could definitely consider bringing in Relic over All Is Dust. I don't think All Is Dust... It can destroy a Phyrexian Unlife. I mean, I think it's better than, like, a Walking Ballista. I think this is fine. I mean, Relic, the Graveyard Hate of Relic, not relevant right now, but it's definitely better than Dismember just because it cycles. This hand is not great. It has Sorcerer's Spyglass as a semi-relevant card. And it has Karn, which can shut off the artifact mana. But it's not clear to me that that will be relevant. On the other hand, what are we hoping to do better? Like, basically, the only thing we can do, hope to hit is a Thought-Knot Seer. I think we can do better. This really needs to hit land. This really hits at multiple land. But if we hit even one land in the top 2 cards, we can map for a Thought-Knot Seer. Opponent's gone to 6. What does this hand do? This hand just doesn't really do anything. Also, just one-lander is really sketchy. This hand is fine. This hand is going to get us to Tron, and we can hopefully do things from there. I'm going to put this Matter Reshaper and this Walking Ballista on the bottom because we're keeping Tron. We could actually tuck this Eldrazi Temple. And then it's either Matter Reshaper or Walking Ballista. I think we put Walking Ballista back. No, we're gonna put back the Matter Reshaper. That may have been wrong. I don't know. I mean, they're both not really doing anything relevant in the matchup. Walking Ballista can be nice because if your opponent has Phyrexian Unlife in play, you can sort of manage exactly the number of poison counters they have, because a lot of times your attack will do basically nothing because it'll do like 9 damage, your opponent's at 2 life, and the extra damage, the way Phyrexian Unlife is worded with combat damage, the extra damage isn't going to go over into poison counters. Our opponent is on 1 land, so that's very interesting. They must just have the nuts, but nothing else. No lands. The nuts with no lands. So we're going to get a power plant here is what we're missing. And then we're going to play... We could go Ugin into Matter Reshaper. There's actually some argument for doing that because we give our opponent another turn to draw a card we might want to hit with Thought Knot. It's also gonna start our clock going faster because we're gonna make 2/2s. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And our opponent probably has multiple combo pieces in hand, so yeah, I actually think I'm gonna go with the Ugin into Matter Reshaper. We're going to create a 2/2 with a Seagate Wreckage, and we're going to cast this. This just puts 5 power in play. Like, I just don't think the extra turn... Like, our opponent's not going to do anything this turn where we care about whether or not we Thought Knot them this turn or last turn. Yeah, this is fine. Cast Thought Knot. They may have the Packed Angel's Grace thing again, but nope. So what are we doing here? Yeah, we have just kind of everything. Okay, so what happens here? You know, we can make another 2/2, and opponent's at 15. Next turn we attack them to 6. So if we can put 6 more power on the board, we win. And like Walking Ballista also works with that. So I think what we actually need to do is we need to take the Angel's Grace, because that can stop our opponent from winning. That can stop our opponent from not dying. I think that's fine. If they draw a land, they can play Thassa's Oracle to jump. This is still fine though. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And then we're going to play... We can play this for 4, or we can play this and this. We're going to do this also. Scavenger Grounds. So we're going to play this. And then this for a lot. Seven? Cancel. What? Pay XX. X is 4. Done. Okay, that's fine. So currently we're attacking for 5, 9, 11, 14, 18, plus shooting for 4 with Walking Ballista. Cool. Okay, on a roll. Yeah, our opponent was definitely in a really bad spot the previous turn. Like I think it probably didn't matter a whole lot what I took, but like even if they had the Angel's Grace, if they played the Angel's Grace that turn, I still don't think there was a way. Well, they were gonna get the Lotus Blue in play, so they were gonna have 5 mana. So they had 5 mana to do something with, possibly 6. So if they had drawn land and Angel's Grace over those 2 turns, then they would have won. Yeah. Okay, we have. I would really like to Thought-Knot Seer to go with all this. But this is still fine. We're going to lead on Mine so that if we draw an Urza's land, we can go for Tron. We'll probably still go for Tron. Well, unclear. This is still definitely a keep, though. This hand does powerful things. There's no reason to lead on Temple. The reason to lead on Temple is if you can go turn 2 Temple Thought-Knot, but we would need a Temple and a Thought-Knot to be able to do that, so we don't have access to that line. So there's no reason to lead on the Temple. If we want to play Reshaper next turn after the Mine, we can still go Temple Reshaper. Okay. If we draw nothing relevant here, which we did not, we drew a Dismember, which is probably dead against blue-white control. I think we just get a 3-2 in play. Getting on board quickly against control seems like the way to go. I don't know that our opponent's control, but seems like a reasonable guess. Seachrome Coast. I don't think I've seen blue-white control lists run that card. That's interesting. Another Expedition map. Okay. Well, we're going to attack. I would like this Maze Mind Tome to resolve. Think about mapping for Cavern of Souls. We're going to play this land because this is the land we have. And I guess it's not a given that was correct. Maybe I should have gotten Urza land. That's fine. If I map for Cavern of Souls, then I play Reality Smasher and attack for 8, and I force our opponent to have a Wrath, which they could have. But putting them on Wrath or Bust seems like a decent play, so I'm going to do that. I guess I could have played the map. That was a mistake. Sure. Okay, Field of Ruin is interesting here. I think I still just want this Reality Smasher to be uncounterable. Cavern of Souls. Go to my turn. We will not make the same mistake. Oh, you're going to do this draw step. That's... Okay, that actually stops this. Sure. Yeah. So we get a waste in play still. So we can't play Reality Smasher this turn now, so that's fine. We can still just attack with this 3-2. Our plan to deal 16 damage over 2 turns was foiled. That's fine. We will expose this tower. We're still fine. I want to get this Maze Mind Tome in now, when it's not going to hit a counter. Could hit a pact negation, but this just draws 4 cards, which is what we want to do against this deck. This map now can get... Probably just gets Power Plant. I'm thinking about being cute and getting, like, Seagate Wreckage. That just seems wrong. Do I want to scry with this? I think I want to get max value out of that card. Ooh, Chalice. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Oh, you had another Field of Ruin. Okay, I missed that. I missed that. That's fine. We'll just get another Wastes. We will, play an Uncounterable Reality Smasher. And I will make sure to make this uncounterable this time. And we'll try to hit you for 8. I think there's a good chance we get Wrathed next turn. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but you kind of have to expect it. No? Okay. Could be a Settle. Could be a Settle. Do I want a Chalice on something? What are the chances of a Settle? I think the other most likely answer is Path. So I think I might lead on this Chalice for 1. Could lead with drawing a card, actually. Scavenger Grounds. Doesn't really change anything. Alright, I'm going to play Land Player on Spell Pierce. Then I'm going to try to Chalice for 1. This way, if they Path, I know it. I get to know it. Yep, Path. It's fine. They discarded a land. So the Path is going to resolve. I mean, I guess I'll use the ability. I know I don't have any wastes left. It's okay. I'm kind of fine on lands. And then I will attack. So our opponent's at 2. No. Nope. Did they have the Settle in addition? Shark Typhoon for 2. Okay. Okay. Cute, cute, cute. Trigger that. Put that onto the battlefield. That's actually pretty awesome. That's just Tron right there. Okay, I have access to 5 mana here. Awkwardly, I don't really have a target for Dismember, which means the Dismember could just completely stop me from activating Seagate Wreckage. So I think I might just leave this Expedition map in play as a hedge against Field of Ruin. Are there any other lands I would want to fetch? I have the Cavern of Souls. Are there any other lands I would want to get? I get a Tech Edge. Get another Blast Zone. Mapping also thins my deck, but that's just so marginal. Yeah, I think I'll just hold on to this map for now. Karn, the Great Creator. Well, let's start off by drawing a card. See what that gives us. It's also like getting the Seagate Wreckage now. Okay. So I think I just try to jam this into play. You're probably going to counter it, but I have another one. So. Karn sticks around. What am I getting with Karn? Probably a Mystic Forge. Not clear. Not clear at all. It's also where you miss access to the Mycosynth Lattice, because that card would just pretty much auto-win. Honestly, if it resolves, I'd probably get Liquid Metal Coating. Yeah. I mean, I think if I think... Is there any chance you just don't have a counter? Because if you don't have a counter, I just want to get the Mystic Forge in play. But, like, not countering, that just seems so weird. We're gonna get this Mystic Forge. It leaves 2 up? Liquid Metal Coating lets us go to town on lands. Liquid Metal Coating plays around Mana Leak. I think Mystic Forge is so much better than Liquid Metal Coating. I want to go with that. I like don't see any reason this shouldn't resolve. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That is fine. Is this just a Shark Typhoon? Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense. Okay, but we're still gonna have a Mystic Forge in play. Also, I can dismember this. This is, like, not a problem. So our Karn is gonna stick around, which is good. I might just get Liquid Metal Coating, or try to get Liquid Metal Coating. I like our position. I definitely like our position. Our opponent is on low life. We have a Planeswalker and a Mystic Forge in play. It's always scary to see the control deck with 5 cards in hand, but, like, what are they going to do with it? They're going to cast a Shark Typhoon. That is very interesting. Okay. You got it. I think I probably want to exile this. Wait. Oh, it's just tap. I thought you had to pay 1 mana for it. That's fine. You may... Oh, you can cast artifact spells. Okay, well... That doesn't exactly do what I thought it was going to do, but that's fine. Nothing here. Destroys an enchantment. I don't exactly want to get, like, just a creature, because that's certainly going to get hit by a path. The other thing, though, is if we... If we just... Like, our opponent almost certainly has, like, an opt here or something. So we would want to have an answer to a 1/1 shark, which I don't think is trivial. I think the first thing that we want to do is to just activate this Mystic Forge. We want to hit some stuff here. We want to do some stuff. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's just play a large walking ballista that can shoot the shark. So that being the case, I'm much more interested in liquid metal coating. I still think that hitting a land a turn is like not that amazing. But I think it's still good. Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to get liquid metal coating. We're going to play liquid metal coating. We're going to play this for how much? I want to be able to shoot down a shark and like maybe a 2-mana. So I'd like to have 8 mana ideally. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do that. That seems good. Why is it like that? Is there some reason I can't do this? Oh, it was 9 mana. Okay. Done. That's an Ugin. That's pretty good. So we'll draw that next turn. No, I lied. We'll draw it this turn. Okay. Your turn. I assume you're going to opt. Yep. That's fine. We're going to shoot this shark. Your chalice is your opt is countered, thanks to my chalice, which I'd forgotten about, but it's still a thing. We spent 10 minutes on this game, so we need to play a little faster. This is my constant curse. Just trying to talk through all the lines. That's a Jace. Okay. Okay. It's a Jace. What are you going to do with the Jace? Brainstorm. Okay. So, our opponent's at 5. If we just resolve a Walking Ballista for 2, we win. Presumably. So there's a lot of things we can do here. We can Ugin, we can try to exile Jace, we can Ugin to... Yeah, I think we'll probably win this turn. This is a matter of how exactly. Stoneforge, sure. Okay. Okay, so we're not doing anything here, right? Okay. Yeah. So we're drawing this Walking Ballista. So we're going to turn this to an artifact. Activate Blaze cannot be activated. Wonderful. Just going to kill that now. We are going to... I mean, the only thing that counters is Ceremonies Rejection, right? So I think we can just kind of go ahead and do this now. Right? Opponent shouldn't, like, be able to gain life at instant speed. Cool. Cool. I do think I should leave a couple dismembers in. They can bring in, like, Baneslayers and stuff. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much where we want to be at. The Walking Ballistas could be bad. I actually don't mind bringing in a second Pithing Needle effect, and again, just a couple relics to cycle. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. Hitting the graveyard, not completely irrelevant against this deck. I don't really know. This is like sort of Tron. Doesn't really do. We don't do anything here. This is fine. I think we either tuck a Redundant Chalice or we tuck a Dismember. We can maybe put Chalice on 2. Does that do very much? I think we tuck the Redundant Chalice. The Redundant Chalice could get countered, so it could just be nice to have the second one. Yeah, that's fine. Dismember is good because it can hit Stoneforge. Our opponent's on 4 cards. Dear me. I was in the middle of a train of thought. I forgot what I was saying. Lead on mine, lead on map. We will need a third land to be able to play Matter Reshaper. I think we go for this. We can get countered, but sure. I mean, that's pretty much always going to hit something, so I'm fine for it to be that. Does kind of make me wish I had the second Chalice, but this is okay. Next turn I might just have to map for Eldrazi Temple. It's a little sad. Sword of Feast and Famine. Okay. It's a lot of nothing. Yeah. We just need a map for a land here. And it's going to be the Eldrazi Temple. No. I almost passed without playing a land. Yeesh. Scary, scary stuff. Okay. I also should have played the Relic. And of course I just now drew the Tron land. Yeah, that's fine. Get a wastes. Does this resolve? Yes, no, maybe. Does this resolve? Get rid of something. I'll probably crack this like as soon as next turn. 2 Dismembers in hand right now is pretty awkward. I guess if our opponent goes like land, Stoneforge, equip sword, that's really bad. Maybe I should have actually not played the Relic because of that possibility. They're on 2 cards though, so not too much to be scared of. Would really like to cast this Reality Smasher this turn. Okay. I am kind of seeing the benefits of Teferi Time Raveler. Okay. I just want to draw a card. Don't see a whole lot of reason not to. That's an Eldrazi Temple. That's really nice. Okay, so I can cast... Oh, I can cast double Matter Reshaper this turn. That seems strong. I can also cast Reality Smasher and attack. I think I would... Well, Reality Smasher also leaves open Dismember on a potential sword equip target. Interesting. I think I'm actually going to go with the Reality Smasher for that reason. And in order to be able to make that play, I need to attack the Teferi. Another Field of Ruin, okay. Sure. Hitting the Blast Zone this time, okay. Well, I don't have another Wastes. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking the third Waste is... I'm definitely seeing the value in this third Wastes. Alright, well, we're going to attack you. Then we'll play a Matter Reshaper. And a map. And leave Dismember up. Should have left Waste up, actually. Yep. So this is why I left up the land. I mean, it was always going to be up at this point, but... This is the Batterskull. Okay. That's not going to happen. We're going to hit you for 8. Sure, Scavenger Grounds. I think I don't play this Matter Reshaper in case of Wrath. Is that greedy? I don't think that's greedy at all. I don't know what I map for. Probably a Cavern of Souls. That's fine. Hey, look, I have another Dismember. Dismember is actually useful here. Our opponent could still live with Path and discard a card, but I don't think that did anything. Okay. Cool, 3-0. Things are going swell. Dropped a few frames towards the end there. Hope that worked out okay. Cool. EldraziTron looking like a powerful deck. I'm enjoying it. 5/5 hasty. Must discard a card to target me. Good card. Thought Not Seer. Good card. It also just feels good to take down blue-white control. It always just feels like a deck that you, every time you try to play against them, they just have everything. I didn't see a single Wrath that game, that whole match. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. The Hardcast Shark Typhoon was really interesting. That is not something you see very often. I do think it makes sense. The play makes sense to me in the context they were in. Our opponent was pretty far behind, and they needed to be getting a lot of advantage to be able to keep up. And Shark Typhoon would have done exactly that. It made a 1/1 that could have attacked Karn for lethal, but we had the Walking Ballista to play around that. Jace made a 4/4 Shark, and who knows what else they were going to be able to do if they got another turn. We did blow up a land with Liquid Metal Coating, but we had a pair of Walking Ballistas to shoot our opponent down. But that Shark Typhoon could have made a lot of sharks. I'll just take a moment to pop up the deck list in case maybe he hasn't seen or wants to see. I did add this. I vaguely mentioned the previous match. I swapped out a third waste for a Seagate Wreckage. Thought it would be good. I feel like lands that draw cards are just kind of always useful, but we sort of saw in that match when your threats are getting Path and Field of Ruin, your lands are getting Field of Ruined. Having third waste is useful. Not entirely sure this choice was wrong, but definitely didn't play out that much. This hand has no land, so we have to mulligan. Our opponent is on 7. This is a 3-land triple Karn hand, which is pretty anemic, and we have a Chalice that's not even guaranteed to do anything, so I think we need to go to 5. This hand is not very good, but it's a keep. We're going to put back... I think we just keep a 3-4-5 curve. It's possible that we keep a Karn, because Karn could just be extremely good depending on what our opponent's on. And like, we're not even guaranteed to get to the Reality Smasher particularly quickly. So I think we put the Reality Smasher back. I could see putting the Karn back over the Matter Reshaper. I just don't think a second Matter Reshaper is going to do a whole lot. So this is fine. It's not good, but it's the line, I think. Ooh, a mirror match, perhaps. All is dust, unlikely to be good. Still no indication that they're on EldraziTron versus regular mono-green Tron. Or perhaps even like some old green-white or green-red Tron. So far it looks like I'm on regular Tron. Nope, it's EldraziTron. And I can't do anything. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So our opponent's going to have access to a lot of mana very quickly. It's possible we won't die on the spot if they just like don't have a really good payoff in their hand, but that seems unlikely. Like if all their hand is just full of these like Maze Mind Tomes and stuff. I mean, I guess we play this just because it's a play. It's pretty bad. I'm expecting to lose this game very soon. They're using it to scry. That's interesting. I guess that makes sense. At this point, they just want to get the game over with as soon as possible, so they want to get all the value from the tome now. So yeah, that makes sense. What do we need to get back in this game? Probably Eldrazi Temple into Thought Not Seer, to running Thought Not Seer, as we need our opponent to just like have nothing for several turns. This is terrifying. It's a large walking ballista. We could just be floating all their mana and then doing stuff with it. I think it's a walking ballista. Yep. That's a card. We'll shoot you. Get in 1 point of damage. Won't be a flawless victory. Eldrazi Temple, Thought Not Seer. Yep. We're taking 7 and then 4 more. This is 5. We're just dead because they pump everything in the walking ballista. I guess they could play around Dismember. Wait, no, does that work? To make it a 5/5, they attack for 8. They're 1 damage short. They could have had lethal if they didn't do that. Now they 9, 6. So in theory, I live another turn. 9, 6. Now I'm dead. I take 9, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, not much could have done there. Chalice of the Void, really bad. All this dust, really bad. Just put in relics that cycle. We put in one Pithing Needle effect. Spatial Contortions are good, actually. Yeah, Chalice Knowledge are just dead. And maybe having like a Wormcoil Engine over a relic is better. Sundering Titan doesn't do anything. Yeah, this seems okay. Sure. If we go 3-0 and lose to the mirror, can't complain. Deck still proving powerful. So far we played Red-White Prison. We played Blue-White Control. What did we play match 2? What did we play match 2? Forgot already. We would like to go first. This is just not... doesn't do anything. Just one land. Good cards, but only one land. No lands. Opponent kept 7. Yeah, I guess. It's not good, but I guess. I'm gonna put back this Ugin, is a bit expensive, and... oof. Spyglass can be good in the matchup, but I don't think we can afford to keep it here. Maybe we should put Spyglass back. That's fine. I guess the only thing it's really going to do anything for is Karn. If we don't hit a Trine land, this map is going to get Eldrazi Temple, so we can play a turn 3 Thought Knot. We did not hit a Tron land. Opponent has a draw stop set. Let's try to adjust my camera here. Sorcerer's Spyglass, so I guess we need to activate this now. And we are going to get Eldrazi Temple. This does... Yep. Do they name Relic, or do they name, like, Karn? This is symmetrical, right? Yeah. So it's not clear that they would name Karn. It's probably just Relic, unless they have relics. Tectonic Edge. That also makes sense. That is a Karn. This is a Thought Knot Seer. What are you working with? You have a lot of scary things. I mean, that Reality Smasher can get played. Not this turn, but next turn. Might just be that. Karn can do a lot of things. But it's also kind of slow. Yeah, I think the Reality Smasher that's threatening to dominate the board is just what we don't want to see. Our opponent can play a Ballista next turn to set up to block Karn. I just don't have an answer for the Reality Smasher if they play it, so I think I take the Reality Smasher. I see lines that line up well against everything else. Yeah, this is just a Ballista that's going to set up to block the Karn. but we're going to play another attacker. Yeah, so we're going to attack. I expect you not to block, because I'm going to get bar blocking. Okay. You have a warping whale? No. You have a dismember. Okay, you drew a dismember. That's pretty good. Well, we'll play a matter reshaper. We will play a... Is it map or relic? I think we play map. Hitting Tron is one way we can kind of get back into this game. In practice, I think it's unlikely to matter because our opponent is probably going to slam Karn here. Opponent is tapping for Eldrazi mana, though. It means they found their own Karn. Their own Thought-Knot. So that's unfortunate. Our Karn is almost certainly gone here. Okay. Ugin. That does nothing. We can tech edge something, but that doesn't do anything at this point. I think we just want to cycle this relic. Do I want to cycle the relic or do I want to crack the map? I don't think we're going to be able to do either after next turn. Well, I think I can wait to make that decision because nothing I draw... Well, if I draw a land... But then I was just get to get that land with the expedition map. Probably have to hope to get lucky with this map, I think is what I need to do. So mine and power plant should still be 4 each in the deck. So we'll just take one and play it. Oh, and I can draw the card. I'm terrible. Just not looking through the lines and seeing what they do. Alright, so you're gonna play Karn, I'm gonna draw a card. Hopefully I'm able to draw into the mine. I can play Ugin. Some things happen. That's not it. I think I block with Reshaper if given the chance. Hitting Tron is a way back into the game. Of course, our opponent can also tutor for something, which is going to be unpleasant. I don't know what they're going to get. Probably liquid metal coating. If they get liquid metal coating, I think I should actually not block with the Matter Reshaper. This is actually, yeah. So I think I don't block with the Matter Reshaper so that if I draw Karn, they didn't even attack. They should have attacked, I think. Doesn't matter because I did not draw anything. I can play a Reality Smasher. That's interesting. So what is this going to do? This is going to attack Karn. Does this attack Karn? I think it kind of has to. Like, you can eat the Matter Reshaper, but if you eat the Matter Reshaper, Karn dies. Yeah, I like this attack. You can kill the reality. You can double block the Reality Smasher to save the Karn, but then Matter Shaper gets through. You can eat the Matter Shaper, but then Karn dies. You can block here. Yeah, I mean this is the block that saves Karn, but it leaves me with the much better board. And I'm also drawing a card from this Thought Knot. You are going to kill my Reality Smasher. This is true. Yes, that's fine. Yes, I draw a card. I'll play it. I'll play a relic. Right, so this liquid metal coating can start eating lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're ways off the Sundering Titan. You played this. You played this. But I get to hit your Karn. So this is basically like a Stone Rain of sorts. I wonder if it's actually better for you just to cash this in now. I mean, if you drew like a Thought Knot or a Matter Shaper or something that can block this, then it's just, yeah. But I'm not completely out of this game. Sure, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, barring a Dismember, I should be able to kill Karn. Attack Karn. Wonderful, wonderful. Make a 2/2 Ballista. And go ahead. You have a Sundering Titan in your hand. You have 5 lands. You are a ways off casting a Sundering Titan. You have a map that can get you to casting a Sundering Titan next turn. Okay, well, that's scary. Yeah, power plant. Sundering Titan doesn't actually do anything yet. I have no basic land types. I have no wastes. Opponent has no wastes. What do you have? 7 mana. That's an Ugin. That's pretty good. I want an Ugin. Is there anything I can do about this? Do I have any land destruction? Do I have anything that could deal with a 7/10? Cavern of Souls ain't it. That's something. Let's attack Ugin. Let's put a counter on this, because I can do that. Nope, not blocking. I'll still put a counter on this. I have nothing better to be doing. Our opponent draws a card. We get some card. We get a Reality Smasher into hand. That's a good card. It's not good against a 7/10, but it's a decent card. Okay. Okay, punish for F6ing. Sure. I mean, I could have killed this Ugin. I actually should have killed the Ugin on my turn. That was pretty bad. Yeah, that was really bad. I'm pretty close to scooping here. I don't think I have a way back in this game. I can cast the Ugin, but it's not super relevant. Ugin's minus can't kill anything because it doesn't destroy colorless things, so it's useless in the mirror. My opponent has a 7/10. I don't think we have an answer to his 7/10 in our deck. I guess we can just make a 2/2 every turn and draw a bunch of cards. It's actually not like the worst. We'll play it out a bit more. Oh. That also happens. Okay, I think I'm pretty done here. Okay, 3-1. Couldn't win the mirror. It's some really unlucky opening hands. We had to mulligan to 5 both games, I think. Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to remember what we played round 2. I don't remember. That's kind of embarrassing. Oh well. How's everybody doing? Anybody watching me? Anybody watching the stream? 6 color control. Okay. This is a Tron land off Tron. It does nothing for several turns, though. Not that we, like, really do anything early. Like, Chalice could be a thing. We'll play a Walking Ballista for 1. I don't know, this hand is pretty bad. Like, we're playing a card on turn 4, and we're playing a Walking Ballista. Yeah, I think this is a mulligan. It doesn't really do much. This is also bad. Yeah, we have to mulligan that. Our opponent also is on 6. This is Tron, and yeah, okay, no, we keep this. What we pitch is really interesting. I feel like it's Ballista Chalice. We could Chalice on 1, which is a thing we can, like, do early, but we can keep Ballista Thought-Knot. So we can just make a big Ballista after the Thought-Knot. No, I think having Karn with Tron is just really good. It'd be nice to Chalice on 1, but you know it all. Mountain. Is 6 color control playing Burn? That's hilarious. Okay, you got it. 6 color control is playing Burn. Okay, that's actually cool because we can. It's a play that we have done. We'll probably just block this Goblin Guide. Block sack. I did have a friend. There was a deck in a while that people called 5.5 color control because it was 5 color control plus it ran Eldrazi stuff. So it actually had to run colors producing lands. So it's kind of like 5.5 color ramp. 5.5 color ramp. Did I say control? This is black red. So maybe bump in the Knights. Okay, we drew a waste. That's cool. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do this. Don't see any compelling reason not to. This turn we're gonna play Karn into. Oh no, not play Karn. We might play Thought-Knots here. Yep, bump. It is bump burn. Okay. Do we have life gain in here? We have Worm Coil Engine. Do we go Karn Tutor for Wormcoil Engine? I think we'd rather play Thought Knot. So we can go Karn Tutor Wormcoil. The next turn play Wormcoil, but that gives our opponent... lets our opponent hit us to 10, and then play 2 mana worth of spells. So our opponent has 10 damage in 4 mana. Okay. Our opponent hasn't shown us white, so I think they're unlikely to be able to do anything about the Walking Ballista, though. So I think we should just Karn get Walking Ballista. I think it'll be good enough. So our opponent's going to put us to 10. They're gonna have 5 cards to deal us 10 damage, so 4 of them have to be 3 mana spells. Alternatively, if we play Thought Knot, we're able to block the Goblin Guide. And we're able to rip a burn spell. I think Thought Knot is probably safer. I can't really find a line where we lose to Karn Wormcoil, but I think that this just seems so much better. Searing Blaze. So that can kill Thought Knot. Yeah, I mean, the Searing Blaze is 3 damage and 3 damage, and the Skewer is just 3 damage, so we'll do it like that. We unfortunately cannot play a Karn on 3 mana, but that's fine. Our opponent is presumably not attacking. They could attack and then Skewer the Thought Knot, but like I don't really see where that gets them. So we'll play this. We'll play Karn. We will fetch a Wormcoil. A Wormcoil. 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 Yes. Wormcoil Engine. I'll play out a blocker, and do we attack? I don't think we need to attack. We'll attack anyway, I guess. Honestly, not sure what the right answer there is. This is... I took the Searing Blaze. It's not a Searing Blaze. I'm just fetching another land. I guess they're just straight black-red burn. They would have gotten a Sacred Foundry if they had white, unless they want double black for some reason, which I wouldn't expect. Black mana. Okay, another bump. They still have a Skewer in hand, so they can put us to 6. They're going to Skewer the Karn. Interesting. Okay. Don't really see how they're going to not die to the Wormcoil Engine, but it's fine. Is there any reason to play a Scavenger Grounds? I guess I'll leave it open. Do I attack? I mean, I'm going to play the Wormcoil Engine. You're not going to have exile-based removal. So if you really have burn spell to kill it, yeah, I can just straight up attack. There's no path to exile in this black-red deck. We're just getting our opponent dead here. I'm going to play Worm Coil, and we can play Worm Coil, leave up Scavenger Grounds if that's meaningful for any reason. Yeah, we'll put that on the battlefield. We'll cast that. And say go. I wonder if our opponent has, like, some sort of delve card? No. I'm just trying to think of all the things I could lose to, and I couldn't come up with much. Chalice seems very good. Dismember, I feel like I probably don't want to pay that life. So maybe I'm just putting in relics. I think the Walking Bliss is probably better than a relic. Oh, I want Spatial Contortions. That's probably better than a relic, and Ugin is a lot. All His Dust is expensive. It's probably just the All His Dust. I might even put in relics over Ugin. I kind of like that. I just don't think I have time to be messing with Ugin. Bridge? Don't think so. Yeah, that all seems fine. It is interesting to me how much I'm sideboarding, given that I have this such a wish board. I'm bringing the Relic of Brigendus pretty often. Not because I'm playing against graveyard decks, but just because it's a card that cycles, and I often have cards I want to get on my deck. Like, if I want to take out my 4 Chalice of the Voids, like, what am I going to bring in? I don't really have 4 cards that I want to bring in, so I just bring in some Relics to cycle. It's actually a really interesting kind of deck-building, sideboarding strategy I have not seen before. So that's pretty cool. I'm still amused that our opponent is named 6-color Control, and they're playing Burn. They really should be playing, you know, Humans or Bring to Light Scapeshift. Something. Or maybe the deck I'm going to play next. Hint, hint. What does a black-red burn deck even look like? I know black-red decks are cards that exist. Bump in the Night Burn. Alright, so this is a list that somebody was playing. They're running red for a Target's Command. I don't hate that. Like, if you're just stretching into another color for a third, for just like another bolt, I don't hate that. Mana bases in Modern can support that. It's not what this person's doing. Open the Night Mardu Burn. Blasphemous Act. This person does not know what they're doing. So I think there's another, like, Claim to Fame. This person also not. Well, this is kind of like Prowess, but just worse Prowess. This hand has 1 land. It's not keepable. I mean, we have a removal spell, and we have a Maze Mind Tome that can get us places. Also, Temple and Thought-Knot. This is fine. We can put one of these back. Done. Okay. Yeah, this is not awful. This is not an awful hand. We have the Goblin Guide again. Swift Spear. Okay. Okay, we can deal with Swift Spear. We will lead on. We will lead on Temple in case we draw a Temple. Otherwise, we will go Power Plant, Spatial Contortion, which should kill the Swiftspear unless our opponent keeps up 2 lands, in which case maybe we consider not doing that. We could probably just wait for end step. And if they have Bolt, they're gonna... I mean, if they had Bolt, they were gonna cast it now. Just to get in the most damage possible. Light up stage, okay. Awkward with prowess, but that's fine. 2 lands, okay. Probably did that because they were missing lands, so they hit their lands, so that's good. They're running a Polluted Delta. That, unless you have blue in your deck, that has to be suboptimal. Wooded Foothills has to be better, right? I mean, you could just, they could just be cheaping on not, they could be running 4 Wooded Foothills, 4 Bloodstained Mire, and just cheaping and not having enemy fetch lands, although online the enemy fetch lands are not that expensive. Don't know why else they'd be running a Polluted Delta, though. Yeah, it just has to be budget. So it has to just be what they had. Rift Bolt, okay. Okay. We'll kill the Swiftspear. I don't think we can afford to let them untap. Like if they're gonna play like an Eidolon or something, we would rather. Actually, we wouldn't rather hit that. Cause we're gonna be playing expensive spells because that's what we do. But if they were gonna play a creature we were rather gonna kill, then that Swiftspear, they represent 2 lands, 2 spells. 3 spells with a Rift Bolt, and so we're just never going to be able to get off, assuming they like play it well, we're just never going to be able to get off that Spatial Contortion in a way that makes sense, so we just have to do it on our turn, which is totally fine. I like our position here. We're going to play a Thought-Knot Seer, we're going to strip out a burn spell, probably. Our opponent might just be able to empty their hand this turn. But even then that would be fine, because then they would put us to like 6, but we're going to have a Thought-Knot to block. And I mean, it depends what they have. I mean, 6 is I think the worst case scenario, and I don't think they're putting us to 6. They're just not. Okay. Sure. So we're just gonna play this. I don't think they're gonna be able to kill it in response, but if they did, I'd be fine with that. They're just gonna. Okay. Smash, Skewer. I could leave the Smash and just play around it for the rest of the game, but I think I want to play this Maze Mind Tome and draw cards off of it. I can deal with this Skewer, that's totally fine. They're probably just going to trade it off with the Thought-Knot and Monastery Swiftspear, and then that's fine. So I'm going to take the Smash. That's fine. Like, I could definitely leave the Smash and take the Skewer and just strand them with dead cards in their hand. Honestly, maybe that's the play. Because then I'm at 14 and they have no hand. They have no attacks. Yeah, this line is going to get them a fresh card in their hand. They're going to kill my Thought-Knot. I get their Monastery Swiftspear off the board. I mean, both lines are very good. But, like, if they draw into a Smash and they smash my Maze Mind Tome anyway, then things are just not good. But I think we're doing okay for now. I still think we're very, very favored here. Got anything? Nope. Okay. I guess I can just draw a card now. F6 value. My past turn is not even bound to F6. But everyone calls it F6. What are we hoping to draw here? I mean, I guess in theory, if we just, like, don't draw anything for, like, 5 turns, we could be kind of be in trouble. Chalice is very good. Chalice will shut off our expedition maps, which is kind of unfortunate. It'll shut off our relics, which cycle. It's still definitely going to shut off way more from their deck than ours, so that's fine. Sure. I can just have 6 here. Okay, you hit a Goblin Guide. I can Spatial Contortion that, so that's not a huge deal. Yep. Reality Smasher on top. Okay, maybe I should just play that. Maybe I should just try to end the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can play Reality Smasher, or I can play Contortion Chalice. If I'm going to play Chalice, I almost wonder if I should just play it on 2. I think we're just going to play it slow. I think that's totally fine. We'll let the Goblin Guide attack, and then Contortion it to maybe get a trigger. We should scry before... Well, I feel like if we scry, we're going to leave anything on top. If it's a good card, we'll leave it on top, draw it. If it's a land, we'll leave it on top, draw it. So I actually don't know if it's better to scry or let the Goblin Guide trigger go first. That's interesting. We are definitely going to scry, just because we want to get closer to gaining the 4 life when we hit 4 pages. I think we let the God trigger go first. There's just so many more cases where it's better for that to happen. Basically every case where we hit a land, we would rather scry. Reality Smasher. I think I actually don't want to draw that Reality Smasher. No, I do, because Smasher and then double smash is lethal. Should be anyway. Okay. I would like to scry. Good, my turn. Play this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eldrazi mana. Attack you. Maze Window definitely does a great job of keeping your hand full, which is making Seagate Wreckage less relevant. Oh, I F6'd. Wasn't supposed to do that. Oh well. Against regular burn, I would need to be concerned about like Deflecting Palm or something. This is just... You did. Cool. That was profitable. Cool. So we went 4 and 1. I don't remember what this guy was playing. Yep. We lost to the mirror, but otherwise a great showing from EldraziTron. Very happy with the deck. And yeah, it's EldraziTron. As I did mention, Seagate Wreckage I swapped out for the Wastes, or I swapped Wastes out for Seagate Wreckage. I could definitely see going back to the Wastes. After our match against Blue White Control, where we got Field of Ruined, ruined a bunch, and stopped being able to search out Wastes. I don't think it made a huge difference. Like, I think we always had a land. I don't think that the difference of not being able to fetch out a land ever hurt us. But on the other hand, we never really came close to drawing cards with Seagate Wreckage. There were times where we were holding kind of dead cards like Dismember in our hand. So I'm not so sure about the Seagate Wreckage, but it's an interesting thing to think about. As far as the sideboard, like I said, I was pretty surprisingly happy about the Relic of Progenituses. Just being able to bring out dead cards like Chalice of the Void in some matchups, or some of the removal spells like Dismember in other matchups, and being able to put in cards that cycle. It's not that you're necessarily always bring them in against graveyard decks, but you're just you're taking out cards that you don't want, and bringing in the relics. So yeah, that's EldraziTron. I love this deck. I performed well, and I think I'll probably be playing it again at some point. Not right now, but at some point.